this video, we will look at how to multiply numbers that have 3 digits. So for example, we will look at how to multiply 432 times 125. But before that, we will remind ourselves as to how we multiply 2-digit numbers. We do have a separate video on the 2-digit multiplications, but here's a quick reminder. In here, what we did was we used the grid method. We wrote each of the numbers, 23 and 14, on each side of the grid, so in red and green. And we filled in the boxes in the middle by multiplying the top and the left number. Each one of these numbers that we just added in the middle, we then add over here, and then we get our answer. So a similar approach we're going to use for our 3-digit numbers. So here, we're going to draw a grid. However, we're going to need 3 sections. So 1, 2, 3. And similarly, we're going to need 3 sections going down. We'll come on back to this question. We're going to try some easier questions and then we'll come back to this one. So let's say we have the question 235 times 2. So again, we will use the grid, and because the first number has 3 digits, we will draw 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. And the second number has 1 digit, so we draw 1 line here. We put times in the top left. We then write the numbers in the top section, so 235, and then we write the other number on the left hand side. And then we fill in the boxes by multiplying the top number and the left number. So for this box, we're going to do 2 times 200, which is 400. So we just place 400 in here. Then we do the next box. The one in purple is 2 times 30. So we write that down. 2 times 30, which is 60. And we place 60 in here. And we do the last box. 2 times 5, which is 10. So now, as you get faster, you will not need to write this calculation here. What you will simply do is fill the grid, and then you will sum the numbers that you just wrote. So you write them as follows: 400, 60, and 10, and you sum them up. So you get 0, 7, and 4. So your answer here is 470. Let's look at another example. So for example, here we have 235 times 200 times 21. So here the first number had 3 digits, so we place 3 lines here, and the second one has 2, so we place 2 lines going across. The top left box we put a times, and then we fill out the top section as follows: so 200, then 30, then 5. So this is coming from that number there, and this one over here, and this one over here. 21, we write this down as 20, which is the first number over here, and then 1 over there, which is from that last number. And then again, we do the same process where we're looking at the top number and the most left number, and we multiply them together. So for this first box, we need to do 200 times 20. So here, we look at the numbers in front of the zero, so 2 and 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Then we count the number of zeros, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. So we go put 3 zeros on the end of that one, so that's 4,000. Then we look at the next box. So here we've got 20 times 30. Notice I put them in the other way around. It doesn't make a difference when you come to multiplying numbers. So here we look at the numbers in front of the zeros, so 2 and 3. So 2 times 3 is 6, and we count the number of zeros we have. So there's 2 zeros there. We've got 2 zeros, so 600. Then we look at the next box. So here we need 5 times 20. So here we've got a number in front of the 0, which is 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then we add the 1 0 that we have there on the end, so that's 100. And the last row, we'll work that out as well. So here it's 200 times the 1. So 200 times 1 is unchanged, so it remains as 200. Same process, 30 times 1 is 30, and 5 times 1 is 5. Now we need to add all the numbers that we've got in the middle of the grid. So that's not red or green. So the numbers we write on the right hand side, is 4,000. Then keeping the unit, tens and hundreds and thousands aligned, we write the next numbers: 600, 100, 200, 30, and 5. So here we add the numbers together, starting with the right hand column. So zeros plus 5 is 5, zeros plus 3 is 3, 6 add 1 is 7, 7 add 2 is 9, and 4 add 0 is 4. So your answer here is 4935. Let's look at another example. Say we have the question 205 times 321. We have 3 digits in the first number, so we're going to draw 3 lines. And then we have 3 digits in the second number, so we're going to draw another 3 lines. And we're going to put a times in the top left. And then we write the numbers out as we did before. For the first number, we write 200. That's from the 2. Now, zeros in terms of tens goes in here, so that's going to remain as 0. We don't include that. We don't actually need to write it down, because you'll see in a minute that this column will just be zeros, but we'll just do that for completeness. And the last number is 5. We do the same thing for the next number, so that's 321. So now, multiply the two numbers together. So looking at the first box here, so the numbers we want to multiply is 200 and 300, so 3 times 2 is 6. And then we add all the zeros, so we have 4 zeros there, so we can add 4 zeros. So 60,000. The next box along is 300 times 0, so that's just going to be 0. And the next box is 300 times 5, so 3 times 5 is 15. And we add the 2 zeros that we see there. And we repeat the process again on the next row, so 20 times 200. So 2 times 2 is 4. And then we count the number 0, so we have 1 0 from 20 and 2 zeros from 200, so that's 3 zeros. So we put 3 zeros there. The next box is 0 times 20, which is 0. Moving on to the next box. So we do 20 times 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then we add on the 1 0 from the 20. That's 100. And then the last row, we're going to do 1 times 200. So that remains as 200. 0 times 1 is 0. And then 1 times 5 is 5. And then we will add all the numbers we have just calculated in the middle. So the ones highlighted in yellow. And we will get our answer. Now remember I said that this middle column is not needed. It's because when you add up zeros, it's not going to change the answer. So this column was not needed. So let's add up the numbers we have. So we have 60,000, 1,500, 4,000, 100, 200, and 5. Now it's very important to make sure that you have your tens, your units, and your hundreds, etc. aligned. So let's start from the right hand side column. We go 5, then we have 0. Next column, 5 plus 1 plus 2 is 8. The next column we have 1 and 4, which is 5. And the next column along is 6. So our answer is 65,805. Now coming back to the previous example, we said we will look at 432 times 125. So the first number has 3 digits, so we draw 3 lines. And the second number also has 3 digits, so we draw another 3 lines. We put a cross in the top left corner and we write the numbers down: 432 and then 125. We then fill in the blanks in the middle. So the first box is 400 times 100, which is 4 and 4 zeros, 2 zeros from the 100 and 2 zeros from the 400. And the next box along to the right is 30 times 100, so that's 3 and 3 zeros, 2 zeros from 100 and 1 zero from 30. The next box along is 2 times 100, so that's 2 times 1 is 2, add the 2 zeros from the 100. Moving on to the next box, it's 400 times 20. So 4 times 2 is 8. Add the 3 zeros. 1 from 20, 2 from 400. Next box is 30 times 20. So that's 3 times 2 is 6. Add the 2 zeros next to it, 1 from each of those numbers. Then it's 2 times 20, which is 40. 400 times 5, 4 times 5 is 20. Add the 2 zeros from 400. Then it's 5 times 30, which is 150. 5 times 3 is 15. And add the 0 from the 30. Then it's 5 times 2, 10. Then we add the numbers that we just wrote in the middle, keeping each of the units, tens and thousands aligned. So we get 40,000. Then 3,000, 200, then 8,000, and 600, and 40, and 2,000, and 150, and 10. So here we just have more numbers to add up. So starting from the right hand side column is full of zeros, so it's 0. 4 add 5 add 1 is 10. We add the 1 below this on the next column, and then it's 2 add 6 plus 1, which is 9, plus the 1 is 10. We then have 8 add 2, which is 10, plus 3 add 1, which is 14. Place the 1 on the next column. 4 add 1, which is 5. So here the answer is 54,000.
You can download the application on Google Play or App Store, and you can visit our website mathslegends.co.uk.